So it was like I was just going from prison to prison, from Broward to Homestead to Lowell to Hillsborough, back to Homestead, went to everyone but Gaston. Like literally every single one but Gaston. So when I was in Homestead, I was like, listen, ain't no more work release. That shit over. I lost my work release shit. So I was like, nah, I ain't got to do nothing but just EOS from this bitch. I got a set date. They can't give me no more time unless I create a charge. Just be quiet. So that last 4-5 months going back to Homestead, that shit humbled me. I was like, I'm gonna go home. Like, cause I got to taste home a little bit when I went to the work release. I was like, man, I want to go home, man. That shit was whack. But so my story definitely different from most people.
All right, so before we focus on the transition home, just I would say like the average thought for most people when it comes to women's prison, they think of two things. And number one is obviously like homosexuality, like girls messing with girls. But then also too, like you always hear that the women's prisons are like more like dramatic because there's a whole bunch of women and they said like the
Yeah.
violence is
Yeah.
kind of like over like the
It
top.
is. It
So
is.
can you give us an inside look in the description? Number one, is there politics on the pound? Like, is there active like sets? You know what I mean? Like banging, like women banging.
Yeah, like they got fights, games, people who feel like they from here, they got them hoes and they be knocking on the wall to my Duval, like the same shit that go on in men's prison, that territory shit like in female prison, but like you said, hormones involved. So people got more feelings, more emotions. They take that shit to the extreme. It ain't just you disrespect me, I don't like what you said. It's that shit gonna run like a child tail, you know what I mean? To where it get to the point where you ain't got a choice but to bump this hoe. You know what I mean? Because now the whole compound know how you feel about it because your emotions done, you know what I mean, done got the best of you. And when it come down to like relations and shit on the compound, that shit everywhere. Like it's for real. Officers and inmates, inmates and inmates. You know what I mean? Like I done seen it all. Like I went to a wedding in prison. And the officers like affiliated that shit. Like, you know, like a whole wedding.
Can you give us a brief rundown of the wedding?
Man, listen, shit was so funny. Like, flyer went out on the compound, everything.
Of two inmate women getting married.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
flyer went out like you know how a call out. You know the call out is in prison when that shit coming that's how the flyer was, real shit. These people was lifers, so they had like a respect thing on the compound. Who was my captain at Homestead? I think Captain Mac. He let that shit go down. That shit was cool as fuck. Everybody had to meet third, you know what I mean, the second yard. Everybody rushed their little meal so they can get out there and see the wedding. Them motherfuckers had like a whole buffet style out there, all types of styles of ramen noodles and baked quarter leg chickens and shit. That shit was good as fuck. I ain't gonna fucking lie. That shit was good. I remember. For real. Shout out to Gwen them. I remember they got married.
All right. So before we focus on the transition home, give us maybe one or two like crazy prison stories. You know what I mean? Like maybe like give us two like crazy moments from your prison experience that you'll never forget, whether it's good or bad.
Well, in Homestead, it's right next door to, what is that, Miami-Dade? I think that is Miami-Dade prison it is down there. So we used to do the niggas' laundry. You know what I mean? And them niggas had to come pick up their own laundry. Like, the wildest shit I seen was a guard let a nigga get off that motherfucking bus to come get ate up like literally in the laundry house. The gangster shit I ever seen in my life. Swear to God. That was a good one. That's one of my good memories. Another one, we had this nasty ass officer named Sergeant Flowers. Real nasty, dry ass wigs. Never forget it. She literally locked the whole compound down because she got in an argument with one inmate. Man, they hit that bitch with so many cans from the canteen. I don't think we ever seen Sergeant Flowers after that day. She might be there.
Well, they were throwing cans at her?
What? Busted right in the back of her motherfucking head.
Like whole Coke cans and Sprite cans?
Bam, head chucked the ass. Because we had to go in. Everybody walking back to the compound.
So when she closed the yard and everyone just started throwing sodas at her?
So some people got to get their bag full and some people got that bitch empty across their shoulder. And she thought it was all cool with her hands in her. Just telling people, stand in line that way. Stand in line that way. Next thing you know, like a 12-pack hit her ass. And bitch, we was inside for like 3 days. No lie. Like 3 days. That shit was wild.
All right, so now with your transition home, two things. Number one, how was the transition home from the time doing prison, navigating back into society, and just what are you doing now? Like, has everything like turned full circle for you?
That shit definitely made me antisocial. Like I don't really like being around a lot of people, closed in with a lot of people no more. Like, it stopped me. I don't know, and I definitely see the world different because I done had everything taken from me. So shit that people be out here like stressing by, like, man, bitch ain't have nothing. Bitch just had 3 items to their name and was living their best life that day. So it definitely showed me like humbleness to the most. Like, and to be honest, I kind of respect, like, you know what I mean? I got respect for, like, I ain't gonna say the law, but, like, you know what I mean? How shit supposed to be, you know what I mean? How shit supposed to be ran. Like, I don't know how to even put it, like, not even sound like that, but it's just like, I understand what I did to get me where I went. But the thing is, if you ain't gonna never learn your lesson if you don't understand why you went. Fuck getting caught. You got caught for a reason. But once you understand the reason why you had to go sit down and not that you sat down, then you can move on a little bit easier on your life. So I ain't had no jits, no nothing. I got out, 24 years old, got pregnant 3 months later. I don't know how the fuck that happened. And shit, I've been a mama ever since. So yeah, like, my transition been beautiful. Like, seeing my daughter grow up, raising my baby, like, I ain't never went back. Got a couple speeding tickets, a couple warnings, but I ain't never went back. And I ain't felt no metal handcuffs since I got out 10 years ago. So it's a chance you can get out here and really, really do positive. You just gotta want that shit. So
That's fire. All right, now tell the viewers where they can find you at. Where can they follow you at? You got anything up and coming? Any social media handles you want to plug in? Anything you want to plug in?
Fire ass candles. I got some. Don't worry about this Wawa shit. That's your second job. I made some fire ass candles. You can find me at Mootney Timmons, on Facebook, or Me My Sense and I on Facebook, on Instagram. It's the same thing, but my name is Moontney. Last name Timmons, Timmons. You can't forget it.
There you go. Anything else you want to share before we end this?
I'm hungry as fuck. That's about it.
All right. What about for those who are still doing time? Any message for those who are about to start a bid or are like throughout the middle of the journey of their bid? Any inspiration? Anything for them?
I say just pray every night. Every time you go to bed, you wake up the next morning. That's a blessing. Don't worry about the calendar, how many more of these days you got to go. Just know you waking up and there's another day that you can do something better with yourself. You ain't got to be out here because there's bitches out here in prison, free in prison. They soul in prison, they mindset in prison. So you can be one of the freest persons inside that gate. It's just all about how you handle everyday life skills. But just know, like, I don't know. The mind is powerful. The tongue is powerful. Just talk and pray your way up out that shit, and you'll get it.